livuvukile ikhanda lakhe kakhulu ushe kakhulu nala emzimbeni.
I saw the guys pulling the guns, pointing on my head.
This war will go into a full scale.
The new innovative transport apps Uber and Taxify has caused disruptive competition in the taxi industry all over the world as well as South Africa. These apps enable riders to request a ride using a smartphone. Since the introduction of this new service, a number of drivers operating under the Uber and Taxify banner have been intimidated, assaulted and murdered.
They don't understand the bylaws. So we are going to teach them.
The meter taxi drivers say the e-hailing industry has crippled their income because the new competitors are not regulated and operate at lower base cost. And because of the uneven pricing within the industry, the drivers bear the brunt.
The general feeling with taxify drivers, we are not happy, we are not safe. We are attacked by the meter taxi drivers each and every time, each and every day. Night, we don't feel safe, we are hijacked. There's no place where now it's safe here in Johannesburg and Pretoria. Now in Pretoria is no-go area. We can't go and work there anymore because they banned a lot of our cars smashed, and a lot of our drivers there, they've been injured in that area of Pretoria. Now we are here in Joburg. Even here in Joburg, it's difficult to work here. We are not safe at all. Client, they requested us, when you go there, you pick up, then they hijack us. They rob us. They smash our cars.
3 weeks after Mabandla's interview, he was doused with petrol and set alight. The incident occurred shortly after he had dropped off a passenger on the West Rand.
Bengakwazi ukuthi ngambona ukuthi uyena. Ngithena ngibuza usister ukuthi ngabe uyena wathi uye usambo lo anaye. Angizange ngikholwe the way bekade kungakhona. Ushe kakhulu ekhanda. Livuvukile ikhanda lakhe kakhulu. Ushe kakhulu nala emzimbeni lashe khona nesandla sakhe sokudla. Ushile nomlenze wakhe waka left. Ushile kodwa izandla uyakwazi ukubhala ngoba ukukhuluma akakwazi ukukhuluma. Njenga nawe umbonile ukuthi isimo sakhe sinjani usafakwa amapipe.
In yet another incident, a taxify driver was assaulted with traditional weapons and his vehicle was damaged in the process.
I was going to drop a client in the area there in Dara Center, and then I was attacked with the guys of the meter taxis because they heard there was someone who was robbed that side, and then they thought it's all our guys. So when I passed there, I was attacked. My car was eaten, all the windows, and then I was eaten by the sticks and steels on the side, even the hand, the leg, all sorts of things. They examined me and then they told me kumele ngibuye ngiboze ngizaya ku theater kunethambo liphukileyo kumele lifakwe insimbi ukuthi libe right.
This Uber driver says he lives in fear.
The first time when it happened, I had a pickup at shopping center. What happened was these guys, we parked the intertaxi guys, and usually they chase us away or they threaten us. So I got there knowing what was going to happen, and so I told the lady, no, come a bit closer because I'm a standard bank. You're standing there at Pick and Pay, and those guys actually stand there, and so she couldn't see me, so I actually made a risk and went there to her. The next thing I knew, these guys were already on me. The guy was on my window here, threatening to flatten my tires, and the other guy was, I don't know what he was talking with the customer. And so because I saw that no, it's not worth it, I told the customer, no, let's meet on the other side or request for another one. Because this is not gonna work, because why did they flatten? They really do flatten the tires. They're two guys, you know. And the next thing I knew, I locked the doors for it, and you wanted to attack me. And luckily, my mother was going to shop there because I actually stay around that area, and she helped me get out of the situation.
The mere fact that Uber is not even acknowledging how many of their vehicles have been damaged, how many drivers are being intimidated, is cause for concern. We as consumers have a right to know. We need to know exactly what is the status of the levels of violence and what is being done.
Uber drivers say they are targeted because they drive around with large amounts of money they earn from cash trips.
Suddenly, I saw the guys pulling the guns, pointing on my head because I was opening only the window halfway. And then I asked, what's going on, guys? They said, no, just get out of the car. And then immediately one grabbed the phone, and the other one go directly where I was putting my money, grab the money, and they put the gun on my head.
Uber drivers are saying that these type of crimes and them becoming targets can be avoided if Uber looks at the cash payment system. What is your reaction to that?
So I think a big point and something we often forget is that the industry always operated with cash. This is not a new innovation that Uber is introducing. So all cash does is make Uber more accessible to more riders looking to use the Uber application. So we see it as a net benefit, and there's no data to suggest that cash contributes to higher criminal rates.
When you say there's no data to suggest, meaning that you don't have a record of or an account of the number of incidents?
We record everything, but there's no higher incident rate for cash trips versus card trips.
How do you measure that?
We look at the number of incidents.
We asked Uber to provide us with their data in order to substantiate the claim, but they did not make it available to us.
Have we taken enough responsibility for our responsibilities with regards to freedom?
Largely the moment of 1994, that moment of absolute magic. Firstly, the voting, and of course when we watched Nelson Mandela take that oath of office, was a moment that we thought, well, we've now reached freedom. This is it. This is all that it can be.
Off with the big story of the day, where Eugenie Bouchard beat Maria Sharapova for the first time. Bouchard upped the ante and closed off the 3-hour epic grudge match with a rousing performance to win the most highly anticipated match so far in this year's clay season. Final score 7-5, 2-6, 6-4. Title chasers Cape Town City FC travel to Pretoria, intent on grabbing 3 points from a resurgent SuperSport United.
Get all the dominating stories locally and globally on Newsroom every Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. We take an in-depth look of all your stories of the day across the world.
Last month, Mkhwebane said that the bank had failed in its duties to protect the public by not ensuring that ABSA repaid an apartheid-era bailout given to the failed bank, Bancorp. The rand fell nearly 2% on her remarks.
My effort, in my opinion, is going to be to build a Zimbabwe that I believe in, as opposed to remaking a Zimbabwe of the past that I cannot do anyway. So I'm absolutely clear on this.
We need to start showing more commitment by government that they are committed to working with business, and therefore that should start to stimulate confidence, and with confidence comes investment, and with investment hopefully comes growth.
Stay tuned to Primetime News every day from 18 hours.
We are building a file with all the case numbers so we can shout even louder to say, look at the dangers we are facing. Look at the attacks that are being...
During a meeting, Taxify drivers expressed their dissatisfaction about the intimidation and violence that is robbing them from the income.
E-hailing operators have opened up the market. They've made transport more accessible. They've made convenience and efficiency more available to a great deal of the market within South Africa. You know, and they're just a convenient service to have for a lot of people in a lot of ways. The safety aspects they provide, knowing who your driver is, knowing where your driver is going.
There is great dissatisfaction in the taxi industry and among e-hailing operators about the pricing structure under which drivers of Uber and Taxify are operating. Meter taxis say they can't compete with Uber and Taxify because of the uneven pricing structure, and states furthermore that their tariffs are determined by the National Department of Transport. However, Uber and Taxify drivers agree that the pricing structure need to be revised. Uber drivers claim that they have to work long hours to make a sustainable income because the market is being flooded.
The reason I say with Uber you become bankrupt is because when I look at the time that I started in 2015, I was earning 80,000 more than what I'm actually earning now. So at this current stage, my bills and the income that I'm getting from Uber are actually equal, and I can't leave by week after week. I have to get some sort of temporary loan from the bank, or either I get a debit order bouncing because I cannot afford, because I've not made enough money for that week. And for me to spend 24 hours on the road is not feasible because I'm a wife and a mother, and we still have a life after Uber.
They can't maintain their vehicles properly, they can't maintain the insurance needs properly because the base costs are far too low, which then makes the meter taxi's point of our pricing is too low very valid, because drivers are operating 12 hours a day so they can sustain themselves, so they can meet their bills, so they can meet their obligations. But driving excessive hours as well becomes dangerous to the drivers' lives, to the riders' lives. So we need e-hailing operators like Uber and Taxify to revise exactly how they consider their base costs.
They are cheap because they want the first turnaround. Now, they say they've got about 7,000 cars, Johannesburg and Pretoria only. If they've got 7,000 cars and then they get R5.50, say then those cars, all of them, within an hour they pick up. Uber into their bank account, they've got about 34,000 rand, R5.50. By the end of the day, if those cars, I'm talking about 20 rand, if those cars they pick up 20 fares, Uber has got about 800,000 in the bank account. You multiply that by 30 days, they've got over 25,000. I'm talking about 20 rand. I'm not talking about those who will be picking up say 50 rand, 40 rand upwards. By the end of the year, the month, Uber is taking out here almost 200 million. That is something that we're not aware of. Now when we start calculating, we can see.
Consumers using Uber and Taxify pay a maximum basic rate of 20 rand. Thereafter, consumers are charged R7.50 per kilometer. However, Uber drivers claim that there are too many cars operating under the Uber banner, which limits their income even more.
The challenge is now, how do we strike a balance to make it a competitive environment for everyone? Meter taxis, as we understand it, the pricings fluctuate, but their base cost sits at 60 rand for the first 2 kilometers, and I think it sits at over 15 rand per kilometer every kilometer above that. So now the gripe between e-hailing operators and meter taxi operators is that pricing. Now the benefits of our pricing is that it's opened up the market. It's made the service available to everybody with a smartphone. They can then travel with us. But the danger of it is that we're getting killed, we're getting shot, we're getting burnt because meter taxi operators cannot meet that pricing.
When there's too many cars on the platform, it's good for the rider because there's always a car right next to your house. So you request a vehicle in about 2-3 minutes, like maybe 10 minutes is the longest you can wait, then you get a vehicle. And for Uber, as many cars as they can get on the road, that's good because they're taking each and every trip and they're getting money per percentage. But for the driver now, when there's too many cars, that's too much competition for me. And I mustn't even say it's competition, it's just unfair. Because in one area, there could be like 30 cars. And how is everyone going to get a trip?
We believe that at the 25%, the economics are very attractive for driver partners who are making use of our technology.
And in terms of the base price, and
we're not relooking that at this stage, as we believe that the economics make sense. The product's extremely affordable for riders and provides a really compelling opportunity for driver partners using our technology.
Uber drivers say they travel on average between 300 and 400 kilometers per day. Although drivers themselves manage their own working hours, they sometimes have to work up to 14 hours or more to earn an income.
Uber, the riders app, will only show you 4 cars, which is sometimes it's not true. So it's not like the Taxify where you see every car that's online. And as a driver, I can't see a car that's next to me that's online. So only when I open my riders app, I will see, and I'll only see 4 cars. So sometimes there are a lot of cars. You end up waiting like 4 to 5 hours for a single trip, for a first trip. This past Friday, my first trip came in after 4 hours.
That's not accurate either. Maybe some drivers who hang around at the airport wait times can be slightly higher, but all drivers who are at the airport, we've recently established a new waiting area for drivers so they can be comfortable and importantly safe. In addition to that, they can see in real time what number they are in the queue and roughly how long their waiting time is.
Meter taxi drivers are regulated in terms of Section 66 of the National Land and Transport Act of 2009. The legislation stipulates in which area a driver must operate and that they may not transport passengers beyond these limits. Currently, Uber and Taxify drivers do not have any limitations.
We used to make a maximum of 15 trips a day, but ever since the new companies came in, or Uber to be specific, our work has been drastically affected. We sometimes go back home without getting even one pickup.
We are competing in an uneven level field. Those guys are cheap. So now, if somebody thinks between the meter taxi and Uber and Taxify, definitely they got advantage because price-wise they are very, very low. Now at the end of the day, our income have gone down drastically.
If they want to apply as taxis, they have to come and apply and follow the act and the procedure and as I'm saying, the ITP, because that is the municipality which is supposed to grant you one to say, yes, we've got enough space at a certain place, then you can apply. Not just for now, whereby at times they are being issued with operating licenses willy-nilly. Let me give you an hypothetical example. I'm here in Pretoria now. I cannot just come and pick up someone from Pretoria, no, unless otherwise that person, I brought that person here to Pretoria and calls me direct, then I'm allowed to do that. So now, if they are issuing these operating licenses to Uber, where are they going to pick up? That is where the conflict starts.
We agree all drivers who we partner with go through the requisite steps as set out by the NLTA.
According to this meter driver who has been in the industry for more than 2 decades, the app concept is not economically feasible for drivers. Instead, it's robbing them of their bread and butter.
When they see it as another form of slavery, because people are sitting in their air-conditioned offices and you are on the ground. You are the one who sees everything that is happening, and all the challenges come to you. It's not only driving around with the app. You have to pay for your installment, you have to put petrol every day, your car needs to be serviced. Now if you look at the way they have slashed the prices, I don't even think even Uber members are getting back their returns.
Taxify could not be reached for comment despite numerous attempts.
He's still going. He popped it up. He says to Peterson. Easy as that. What a response it is from the Cheetahs. Brilliant score.
Imran Tahir produced a superb performance with the ball. The Proteas leg spinner put his side in the driving seat, scalping 3 wickets for just 18 runs.
Gifton Gope is flying toward third, and he is there with a triple, his first in the big leagues.
It is a Ferrari front row lockout, unless Hamilton can get on pole, and he can't. Ferrari, for the first time since France in 2008, have locked out the front row.
For all your sports news, keep it locked to Sports Live every Saturday and Sunday from 20:30.
What guides us? Is it something you can see? Hear, feel, or touch? What leads us onto greater experiences? Is it the words of our sacred texts? The advice of our elders? Or is it the actions of our people? The strength of our beliefs? Or the voices of our citizens? Your country is guided by the voices of its people, and your broadcaster is dependent on your voice to guide it. Get your copy of the SABC's editorial policy and have your say.
Amanda! Amanda! Next time you're not going to receive a memorandum in the park like we are just. We're going to receive a memorandum.
The Concerned Meter Taxi Association group last month handed over a petition to various metropolitan municipalities in Johannesburg requesting them to take action.
They are protecting something that is illegal, and they are not aware that if they leave it like this, they won't stop. This war will go into a full scale, and passengers will be caught in the crossfire, and it's happening already.
The meter taxis operate from one area. They go into Kuruleni, they go into different parts of the province. So hence these licenses are basically governed by the province. But in terms of bylaws, you know, these bylaws have been in existence for quite a while. It's there for everyone's safety, and if any of the bylaws are raised in there, it's something that we certainly will be looking at.
Although Uber operates in more than 600 countries, their services have been banned in 10 countries around the world. In May this year, the European Court of Justice ruled that Uber qualifies as a carrier rather than a digital service.
The ruling was as such that Uber from today, you are no more, don't call yourself an app. You are a transport provider. So go down and get regulated and work like meter taxis.
Uber is a technology company. We connect riders to drivers using our technology. I think an important point to keep in mind is that we operate in over 600 cities around the world. And recently we announced that the 5 billionth trip was booked using our technology. So we believe the technology has the ability to change cities for the better, increase mobility options to riders, give them a way to move around their city as an alternative to car ownership, and importantly, especially in the context of South Africa, we're creating thousands of economic opportunities for driver partners.
The meter taxi industry says it's important that the country stays abreast with the latest transport technology available to drivers and users. However, the transport industry needs to be regulated in order to avoid unfair competition within the industry.
Uber must go and come back. Those people who want to apply to use their app must be legal taxi people who are already operating. That is the solution. It is the duty of the government. It is the duty of the Minister of Communication to shut down that application. That is his duty.
We are saying that technology is here to stay. For that matter, we can't say they must stop operating, but what we are saying is that let them be regulated, let them have operating license so that we work together in peace and harmony.
There are those who are operating without licenses, and we have made it clear that that is not going to be tolerated, and the police are going to enforce the law.
We need peace. We need all the parties to immediately cease the violence. The intimidation needs to stop. We need everyone to sit around the table and find a common ground where everyone can work together.